operation. There we go. Alrighty. Now I should probably just check. Going. Started on. Very good. Alrighty, everyone. G'day. I'm Rob the Builder. Can we build it? Yes, we can. Now, what we're doing is detailing. Now there's probably going to be a little bit of assembly we're going to be doing as well. The reasons for that will be pretty apparent as you go through, because what I want to do is actually I'll probably do more setting up the wheels of the Hampton. I might as well set the wheels of blank as well, actually, if possible. And then I'll airbrush them. I'll airbrush the wheels of the Spit as well, but then might as well get stuck into the rear tyre. These are the things, people. So, to that end, first things first. Actually, very first things first. You all know what comes first, people. Anyway. Let's get it. Now, something I have done is hit some of these that I've already painted with a bit of varnish. Here's one of our completed engines. The varnish is adequately dry. We're going to hit it with some Nuln oil very shortly to go into some of the hooks and things. No, you can't quite see what I'm waffling about there. I'm sorry. Dry. There we go. Yeah, here's one of. Oh. For some reason, that's known to itself. And it's probably a feature that utilised correctly is really cool, but it totally is a pain in the ass in my eye. Here we go. Now here's one of our engines. Pretty happy with that it's looking. What we're going to do is we're going to hit that with a bit of Nuln oil. That'll bring it up. That'll settle into all the little nooks and crannies. And doing that, it will, bring it up further again. Then we'll hit it with some more varnish, and that'll look very sweet. Hoist. There you go. Do that in a minute. Yeah. Okay, let's start with Halifax wheel, shall we? Which we can find thusly. A little bit of almost coming off anyway. So not going to be do that one. They can stay as they are. Stay as they are. I'll zoom you out a bit further. Sorry, guys, you can't see it. Here's a free bits. Well, that needs to go on the bottom and get painted. Little instructions. That one. The all together. But I'm going to get them out of that. So I actually think I need to hit these with some interior green. There's certainly one part of it. The problem I've done is I've done all my other interior green session. Other wheels. Those two. Here's the other one I'm looking for. For airbrushing. Possible. How far could I take that? Well, right. That's stuff I want to get out for. I think that's all I actually work on. Actually, probably consider. Now, here's a question, kids. Do I want to do the propellers now, or do I want to do the black here? Do them. Do them out as well. Back up there for you. Now these guns, obviously you can see how they go together there. Fury ones. There's a anyway, pretty sure you can see why I will paint them first. Much detailing to be done on. See where they go anyway. But first, now if you look at the Spitfire wheels, here, we have options on our wheels, preferring those ones, but it might be a question. What is the correct ones for the occasion? Guys, can't be take me too long to down. It's like, here we go, found him. Might need those. Well, yeah. Now, wheels, kids. Wheels, wheels. Okay. Doesn't specific. They got tree. Ah, I see why. To do with air filter there, maybe some sort of filter. Which one you put on there? That's it. Enough. Now, have I ever done a sop with camel? Sort of. How you doing, by the way? Um, I will show you what I got. Okay. Let me just give me a. I'll pop these out the way. I got started on a sop with, and it broke my heart on so many levels. It's a rodent kit. I've got it on hand. I do want to get started on it again. And whilst it offered. Over here it's a question of the other way around, buddy. It's pretty chilly. It's winter, South Australia. Now, this is a rodent kit. As you can see, it offers some quite nice detail that I got into and really enjoyed. Looking quite good. But the amount of effort it took just to get to there broke my weird old heart. And then I lost, because it took so long, I actually lost a piece that was one of the struts there, although I do have something to replace it with. Yeah. I do want to get back onto that because what I had in mind. Oh, thank you. What I had in mind for this was, in fact, to give it the markings or the paintwork and the insignia of A.R. Brown, who's the guy credited for shooting down Richthofen. The reason that's a bit of a thing for me is because, okay, look, Richthofen is arguably the most famous ace of all time. Not the most highest scoring by any stretch. While I'm talking, I'm going to put some of this stuff together. I've got to put the Halifax wheels together before I can airbrush the wheels. There's not much point in that. Anyway, because let's face it, Richthofen is most probably the most famous of the aces through history. Again, not by no stretch is he the highest scoring, but everybody's heard of the Red Baron. They might not know his name, but they know the Red Baron. So what I wanted to do is, because of course he flew a lot of yeah, right. Anyway, he flew a lot more aircraft than the Fokker triplane that he is. In fact, not all of his triplanes were red. Bottom line, I have 7 kits. It is. Give me a moment. I'll give you a tally. Okay, I've got Albatross D2, D3, in fact 2 D3s, 2 D5s, a Fokker F1, and another Fokker DR1. I've already done one of his, the blood red one. If you give me a moment, in fact, I've even got a Fokker Eindecker. I believe that's the aircraft he would have learned to fly, or learned to fly in. He would not have flown that in combat, but now this triplane is, I think it was my 3rd build or something. So yeah, and that's a Revel. There's lots about the way they went about things that were very, very good. Some of it I would kind of like to have approached with a bit more experience under my belt, as far as understanding rigging and such like. But yeah, you can see the rigging's not quite straight. Yeah, anyway. So this is his DR1. Or one of them anyway, and the one that he's most famous for, and of course ultimately got shot down in. And that's why I want to do the Camel of A.R. Brown. But I also want to do, and indeed already have, all the aircraft that Richthofen flew. It will be, and indeed I'd like to do his brother Lothar von Richthofen. Because poor Lothar, he was an ace in his own right, but because his brother was Manfred, he's Manfred von Richthofen's brother. That's the bottom line here now, isn't it? That is the dealio with them, I believe, yes. In fact, if you've noticed that stunt pilots tend to go for triplanes, I believe that's the main deal with them. And in fact, something that's interesting to note with regards to the triplane, given the era it came in, there's almost no rigging on that, apart from those front ones and down the back here. There's almost no rigging. So that would mean that the wings were a lot more strong and stable, I would have thought, than their biplane counterparts that had a lot of rigging. I know that was Fokker's triplane was what was the reason that the Sopwith triplane came about. It was a counter, as it were. So yeah, there you go. Now, with regard, the other thing about what I might do, I've got two lines of thought about where I'm at with. Please don't sit together. I was just talking to myself for a moment. I do that. Now, oh hey Minpins, how you doing, bud? Now, just get on to some wheel action here. There's a very joke that sort of reminds me of. I assume for you guys, you have wheelie bins. As far as like bins with wheels on them. They're a thing over here. Anyway, bottom line is the joke goes is this goes back to the days when they were actually garbage collectors and it wasn't just some way to drive with a set of forks. Anyway, I've seen your brain fart. That's funny. Anyway, where goes into this house? There's a guy standing at the front, but you can't see any bins. Hey, buddy, where's you been? Who else is there? I've been on holiday. Oh no, where's your wheelie been? Okay, I've really been in jail. Is that anatomically possible? Like the guy line, make believe world. That's where was it? So you burp where you fart, and you fart where you burp. He has a mental image of it. Indeed, that's how it happens. tell me I'm full of hot. Yes. Hey, that's nothing. You should hear what they say about what I got between my ears. There's any on. But what I'll do as well is once these have dried, give them a bit of wet and dry. Make sure that seam goes. They'll look like real tyres. At least that's the theory. It is very good for that. I don't know. Um, that's an interesting question, mate. I really don't know, to be honest. Min pins, you got any idea on that one? I know that people do put them together, but as to whether that's they do their own assembly and from there, or whether there are specific kits for it, that I couldn't tell you, mate. What I would suggest, that's a line of thought, is I know that Tamiya do some remote control. Okay, these ones are the Halifax ones. I don't really need to, with the bit ones, I'm going to use these ones. What I'll just end up doing, I'm going to get myself some blue tack. I'll put a little blob of blue tack over and just airbrush the suckers. Make them look a bit nicer. Now, I'm not going to be able to do that with the rear tyre on the bit. That's way too small. I reckon I can airbrush this, and I will too. Again, to make it look a little bit nicer. A bit of a sand to get rid of that seam. Yeah. Ah. 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 Now then. But anyway, so these are the Halifax ones I'm doing. I'm thinking that I may as well do the length ones all in one go. I mean, okay. And why wouldn't I? On that subject, as I mentioned earlier, I do need to keep half an eye on the time. By earlier marks, I had an earlier stream when I was explaining to Minpins, other people who are watching, that yeah, I need to be off in about another hour and a what's that? Ah, there's noise coming from people warming that we've got my won't start for another. But these are the things. Yeah, the needle, look, it's not all beer and Skittles. It does take a bit of work. If it gets blocked, a lighter is your friend. Get a lighter and run that along the stem. Away she goes. That's pretty much the deal. we go. Boom. Blank tyres. They've done them slightly differently. Yeah. That actually, what I'm going to have to do. Oh no, there are two halves. Yeah. Oh, my knee's just got really achy. Ooh, time to move that back to there, perhaps. Oh, yeah. Next. Ah, these. Oh, hang on. I see the difference. I don't know what the difference was. There isn't this. Oh, what it is. Right, you see there? I'll zoom in. See, there's a little thing there. That matches. There's a little sticks out there. That's how you get the wheels aligned here. So there you go. The white slicks. Ah. Yeah, I could actually. How's about white? I should put some white walled tyres on them now. What's the line by Billy Joel? Are you going to cruise the Miracle Mile? Um, there's a pitch. Boom. Another. That does look very nice. You can tie that. One thing I do like about the blank tyres is how they've given that nice little flat spot to give it the look of being under pressure. And oh, look at that. That's actually pretty cool. Yeah. Well, this what was glue that. Oh, you meant not just there. Hey, that was rather good actually. Most impressed. Yeah, can't be entirely unhappy about that, or indeed the way it stayed together. All of that without glue. What I meant about that was facing down, which means it was probably going to piss out. All right, they're doing it. Oh no, we're good. We're good. Okay, so boom. Right. Okay. Good. Oh, actually, that's pretty good, guys. Check this out. Like, seriously, think about it. Whilst it is going to require some work we'll give it a sand with some blue and wet and dry. You can actually see that that's a really quite snug fit on the tyre. Not too bad. I'll probably even be able to get away without the sanding, but the sanding will just make sure that it looks extra nice. That's the way it should happen, I tells you. Oop, hang on. Oh no. Oh, hey Papa, how you doing? Whoop, I've got a whole stack of glue running down my thing. That's a bit unfortunate, min pins. Jesus. Yeah, I had a horror flash experience with an RS model. Um, it was an Air Cobra, and look, even from the outside, I could see it had its failings, but I was wanting to build the Air Cobra, so I stuck with it. The moment of truth, as it were, arrived with some polyurethane parts. As to why they'd chosen to go for a different type of plastic in the first place, I will never know, but they did. And um, yeah. Anyway, arrived when I went to get these parts off the type of sprue they were on, and they just broke, straight out broke. I can breathe. There was slightly different um, exhaust manifolds on. Said it. They were there. I thought, okay, that they were the normal type of plastics. That also had me going, why would you do this? And they didn't fit. Right about then, I thought, all the words, step away from the kit. Went through my mind. Indeed, that is what I think it did. Certainly wasn't behaviour that I needed, Jim. I sometimes do wonder what goes through the minds of some manufacturers when things are so, what's the adjective I'm looking for? They clearly haven't thought it through. That's the best way I can put it. They clearly haven't thought this through. Dearie me. That is a big haul. Yeah. In the modern era, it shouldn't actually be that hard to get your kits or to have kits that are clean. I mean, when you're talking about laser cutters, pretty common. And they're pretty old news these days. And 3D printers are at the point where they can print you a house, quite literally. It might require a few steps, but I believe that is an achievable thing that can happen, you know? Yeah, I'd say so, man. I'm a bit like when I was at the tour of the Duff Brewery. Right, he says to the goes up to the quality control guy to say what a great job he's doing. Before he's interrupted, he's going there. He's removing things as he sees them. Yep, nose, needle, rat, whatever's in the bottle he takes out. And as he's talking to Barney, all these things with all sorts of things go through. Yeah, I believe they can, buddy. Look, I think the bottom line is that yeah, they. It depends on the size of your printer, obviously. I believe it's the deal. But yeah, I have heard that that is the case. I mean, I guess you're talking about an industrial-sized um, printer. But if you think about it, theoretically, 3D print anything, so long as Your printer is big enough. Big. You can get the design, and I believe that's how it operates. It's that easy. Yeah, right. That's interesting. Um, as far as I can see why they'd use that on the Moon and Mars if they wanted to put populations on there, which we'll probably take ourselves out before then. But hey, um, wow, amazing. See, these are the things. So yeah, coming through. Hey, there we go. The age-old rule: as soon as the glue goes on, they're gonna bone you. Yeah. Again, that should be very nice. Oops. Good. The Netherlands and indeed large parts of Northern Europe are actually very socially advanced. I'm a bit of a fan of their way of approaching now. One thing I should also consider, whilst I'm on putting wheels together, is anyway, but the whole thing of social democracy, whereby you tax the bejesus out of just about anything that moves, but everything's laid on. Tell me how that's not a win. I live in a country where that's funny. Yeah, getting back to my political soapbox moment. But yeah, in my country, Australia, the health system is struggling. You have to pay exorbitantly for a university education, yada yada yada. And yet, the wealthiest people in the country pretty much pay no tax. Go to Scandinavia, everyone pays the same amount of tax, including the corporations, and everything is laid on. They've got world-class health, bam, there. World-class education, bam. So it goes. Ah, the cheese shop sketch. Cheddar? Oh, not much call for it around here, sir. Not much call for cheddar. Single most popular cheese. World is cheddar. Not much call. Well, not around here, it isn't, sir. Hang on. What the hell? Why? There is a. Let me just check something. My assembly sheets for this beastie. Because there is a quite noticeable thing going on there with the rear wheel. Unless there's something that happens with the rear wheel. Yes, and he wished to seek some cheesy comestibles. Yeah, I was here's a bit of humour for you guys. Maybe that's just how the wheel is. Anyway, sorry, yeah. My brother and I, whilst we generally didn't get along so well. As far as it goes, one thing we did have in common was that we could quote Python extensively, like a lot of people. My mum would always hassle us and say, that she didn't want us dominating the table with that. We had visitors, which is fair enough. And anyway, I'm actually going to keep these separate for the time being, and I'll airbrush them. Then I'll put do the aluminium bits and milk. So there's probably 2 pieces of rubber. There you go. Anyway, and some friends of the family were over, and they were saying how they'd been to Tasmania, and had gone to this cheese factory. Most of it was pretty nice, apart from this one cheese. It was particularly runny. Brother and I have just looked at each other and bitten our lips. Except David hasn't been able to help himself. Stepped out with, "Oh, we like it runny." And the response has been, "Yes, but not this runny." Don't know how the hell we stopped ourselves. I really don't. But yeah. Yeah. Now, what I'm going to do next, 2 things I shall do this too. First, I've got to find, here it is, Null oil. Now, null oil is something I was introduced to. It's the one. I can't remember which one the cat got. Oh no, wait a minute, because he chirps out with the, yes, correct, it's the one that the cat got, because of course it's the, I don't care how fucking runny it is. Oh, cat's just eaten it. That's the one. No, I've been deliberately wasting your time. That's it. Yes. Fantastic. Now, what I'm going to do with the null, after I've had a mouthful of coffee, by golly. Yeah, it was just too good, you know. I'm sure, in fact, I can see you gentlemen know exactly what I'm talking about. But because of its structure, just ducks into recesses. Once that dries, it'll bring it up a little bit, contrast up a little bit more. Varnishing it. Ding. Ah, there's another one for you. Ooh, the machine that goes bing. So yeah. Okay. Now. Coming along now. Tell you one thing though, it's interesting. It's like when I was a kid and I used to watch Python. It used to make me funny, make me laugh, and I thought it was funny mostly because of the abstract, off the wall humour of it all. As I've gotten older, I've come to appreciate that some of the things that are funny about it are a bit more nuanced than that. Like, for example, the whole thing with the constitutional peasant in the Holy Grail. That whole the Lady of the Lake feel that Arthur chirps out with. Now, what are those giant paint spots on the cowling? Which kit you looking for, buddy? The paint spots on the cowling. Oh, these, like you talk about this stuff. That's just leftover bits from the black wash. That won't matter. That will come off. Covered when I paint. Ooh, what's more about is bringing up some of these little divots and stuff. So yeah. And also, by the time I put weathering, it'll all be good. Maybe Rob knows this to be true. Well, that's right. But ultimately, of course, that is the precise argument that the Royals put up for. I need to do a bit more because I was also going put up for well, for centuries, quite literally. They were ordained by God, and that was their the reason that they were kings. You can't argue with that, surely. All I'm saying to that is we take turns to be sort of an executive officer of the week. Yes, we do. Now we'll put it into a few slots gone. Yeah. I think that's just the. I'll be perfectly straight with you, mate. Don't know what actually the different parts of the engine are beyond the cylinders. I don't know what it is. It could be the rotor cover. But I've seen them blue like that, and I think they look good like that because it gives them a sort of distinct look and sort of what's that propeller Yeah. But thank you for your for observing. Well. Bam. Put that up there. Now, there's one thing I do want to do whilst I think to. Brush. Da, 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 da. Now, next, good people, we are going to got a bit carried away with a bit of yellow. A dash. I'm going to tidy that up because beyond that, I'm pretty happy with how that's coming along. Pretty sure the bit that I got carried away on is pretty obvious. But yeah, beyond that, I'm pretty happy with how the dash looks. All right, now, so we took a little bit of black onto that, and all. be well. So, lick. Lick. When I was saying blick, then just reminded me of a Simpsons moment where they're in New York. Bart goes to the Mad Magazine offices one stage, having Christopher the tour, and the door opens. Alfred E. Newman leans out. They're get Kaputnik and Vornbaum. I wish to see the drafts for the new kids on the blick. And get me my Bestocken and Pastrami sandwiches. Picture of my nephew when he's young. I swear, man, he does look like Alfred E. Newman. Actually sent him pictures so as he could do a compare and contrast all of his own. Ah, it's the twirly thing. There we go, an insightful assessment as to the mechanical realities of the engine. The twirly thingy wobber is indeed typically painted blue. And as we move oh my god, I've fallen into David Attenborough. Here we have the suburban modeler. Now, notice as he looks cautiously at the paint. He reaches now for a brush. Looking at which brush will he go for? Oh, it's the green one. Two. Yes. Excuse me, guys, I've got a smudge on my goggles for some reason. It certainly wasn't helping the cause then, I tells you. That will be that done. Now, I'm going to that's that little touch done. We'll do a little dab of yellow, a little varnish, and that'll be done. That's what I might do. The guns on these ones anyway are going to be a really straightforward operation, largely on account of detail on them because of the way they are attached to the gunners. Limited options we actually have. I'll show you what I mean. Yeah, that'll probably do it, mate. Now, as you can see, we've got these big bloody rings that the other side goes into. The detail on those is fairly negligible. Best I can maybe do is a little zip down there of a different colour. But at the same time, what I need to bear in mind is here's an example of the gunner. You can see he's got a big ring there that's gunmetal grey. Certainly going to do the main barrels gunmetal grey, and I might just do different edification. Don't think anybody will notice, but it'll float my boat. Put the ends there. Now, I'm going to be back very shortly, gentlemen. Just going to take a very short break. Whereupon, we're going to paint those. There is another gun I actually need to get stuck into on Halifax. A few other bits. All in good time. Back shortly. I'm back, guys. Now, here we go. If I'm going to hit them with some gunmetal grey, there's a few other bits I may as well as hit whilst I'm at it. I use gunmetal grey for a couple of things. Okay. These vent bits go in. Pretty sure that all four of them get used. Let's just check that detail. Okay. I shall make gunmetal grey. That behooves me. One thing I'm also going to check while I'm here. Do they give us a colour for the guns? Are they gunmetal grey? Do they adhere to some other colour? Very generously, nearly impossible. They look like they've got them medium sea grey underneath and camouflage colour up top, which that's so good. Could do them gunmetal grey, but I think I'd be more correct doing the camouflage colour, because that's what happened on the Hawker Typhoon that I built. Match the camouflage colour that extended from the upper wings. That being so, I will not do the executive decision there. Yeah, it does get a little hectic on occasion when you're doing this many kits at one go and you want to get to optimize, as it were, the your painting schedule, as you can imagine. However, once you start getting the hang of shit, it all comes together. Alrighty. So, that's what I was also looking for. What I was also looking for. In fact, I want to get right down to the nitty. All stacked. There's another gun here is actually part of Halifax. I'll be able to do that one different colours. Ooh, get the pretty colours. And more Lancaster. Somewhere, people. Aha. Ooh. Yeah. Don't know if I'll do the blue. No, I'll worry about them later. Get onto the next I have in front of me. Probably plenty to be gone. Yeah. Paper. Modern art piece comes out. Yeah, maybe I am due for another piece of paper. Now gunmetal grey, bing. I find looking at the other language bits here kind of interesting. Gunmetal grey. Bliss metallizzato. Obviously, that's what it means. Gunmetal grey. But, yeah, hey. Now, goggles on. Go with that one. Oh, even forest. So, operation. Where I wish to put colour. This is the, I'll zoom in on what I got. So as you can see. Yep, okay. There's a few bits and bobs here, and what I'm going to do is different shades of grey, not 50, yes, we all know the joke, to highlight things on the gun. Now I'm going to do this area here, there, up, actual gunmetal grey, and probably the side as well. I'll do the magazine, a different one, up there. I'll do 3 different shades of grey on that to highlight, but first I'll do those 2 spots, gunmetal grey, and let it dry. That's the idea. A little bit, to about. You little sucker, I tell you. There's the barrel done. There's the barrel. Let's zoom out. Those 2 parts are done. Another shades of grey on. Highlight those different parts so it'll all come together. there. Thank you. Now, minerals in this one. Yeah, they are, but hey, losing the work with 1:72. Good on myself. That's fine. I want to know that there's some humour to be found, I guess. And a lot of people view me as a very, very big guy. I'm over 6 feet tall, pushing 300 pounds. Certainly bigger than most. Comment has been made about the fact that how is it to deal with such tiny. So yeah. One thing I can say is there is a bit of have developed a technique by which getting into the small stuff is easier. Part of it does involve magnifying goggles, obviously. Um, but I actually rest my hands on the table, make sure that I'm completely stable when I paint. Because of course, if I go up here, even that small amount of movement as I talk is going to make it harder if I want to get onto really fine detail. Here, boom. Press that there. There's a good start. You know, it's nice and stable. I don't know. You might already do that. I don't know. All right, now this, then onto the far easier bits of bit. Then yeah, we're doing for big old. Absolutely, buddy. Saturday morning, be on time. Sacred day of fishing. Well, you will take. I'm actually transferring fishing when I do the big 24-hour stream. I'm moving some fishing to the Sunday because it will take me a good day to recover I can't go from being up for 24 hours and then go out fishing for another 6 or 7. So what I'll do is, because I'll be finishing 6:30 in the morning, I'll go get 4 hours sleep just to recharge for a little bit, stay up for about another 5 hours, and then I will crash hard. That is how you do it. I know this because that's what I used to do when I was a bouncer. I used to work a place where I started my shifts at 12 at night and finished at 8 in the morning, so I'd be in bed. Yeah, winter fishing, buddy. Sometimes it really brings them on, man. We go for bream in the estuary. Big. And numbers haven't been good, but some of the fish have been sizable. Has also featured a couple of instances of being snapped off by what were clearly absolute dinosaurs. My mate and I have designated, haven't had a couple of spots, but there's one that was just boom. I was getting him in and he just snapped me. And our name for him is General Sherman. You may or may not be familiar with the Simpsons reference there, but yeah. He's clearly an absolute Terminator. That's what you want. I mean, the business is quite safe. I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't give itself up willingly. I mean, it's not like we weren't going to put it back. We'd put it back. What more does it want? No. We do catch and release. I don't see what the fish's issue is really now. Anyway, there's those guns done. All right. Nick. Actually, there's something. Go under careful. Want some covers. Mostly not be seen. What I'm going to do, because these wind up in here basically. But what I'm going to do is the area in there, do dark black, as I'm going to do the insides of the covers being stars. And then there's any possibility of them sticking out at all, we give maximum opportunity on that. That's my thing. Doesn't come through well. All right. Okay. Now, I think these blankets on this side don't need to be visible. Won't be visible anyway. We all know this. What other things we can quickly do here? Get these done. That is now where are they? Aha. Believe more these. Good, that's a bit. Looking at that part there. Don't like it. A bit more detail that could be on. What I'm wondering. Wow. Yeah, whether by identical part or part for that has more detail. I'll zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. It's that part there. You can see it descends smoothly, but it should have a little divot and a bit of a mesh on it on the inside. I painted it there because that's the closest I'm going to get to that, but I have not that. Zooming I reckon that it is entirely possible. I'm going to brush. I reckon I've got a air fix part that'll go there that may look better. I'm a fan of things like I can get that achieved. There we go. It won't take me long to get the box that has the bits in it. So, we shall have a look-see, shall we? Give me a moment. I'll put that over to there. Hold on. Put that to there. Jolly good. All of these can go there. There. All right. Dogs leave things everywhere. Oh no. Yeah. It's, there's actually who knows what lies behind there, man. What will you find? You know, castaways, Nazi gold. Anything could be behind there, man. There's probably an entire culture risen, evolved, become a quite intense civilization, all on its own that time frame. But now, what I'm looking for on the let me just, this is a bit of a luck of the draw deal. Delving into, right, here we go, kids. There's a couple of ways this might happen. I would suggest, I've got this looked at, I might be one up. But, hoist, and if I don't, well, I'll be doing other stuff then, mate. I will. Now I've got a couple of options here. Just to see if we can find a nice event. The one on the kit. Boom. No mushroom. Yeah. Now, what I have here, guys, is a couple of, now, this I got with a stack of stuff, and the decals are now too old to use anyway, but let's see if I get how they've gone about it. Okay. We have here, is there anything I can utilize to, they've done it like that. It would be nicer, but they've got it there. Curse it. All right, now. I've got so much shit in this box. That the way. Aha, now, if we're going to find anything, here is our best opportunity, I'll suggest. Not looking good so far. What the hell's this from? And looking decidedly grim there. Bugger. Yeah, not happening, kids. Curse it. No, what it is, and look, it's just me being, well, me. Where did I put it? There's a vent on the front of a Spitfire. The way they've gone about constructing it, I don't like the way it looks, frankly. I should put on a snooty voice for that. Just demo for it. It looks, you know. Now, what it is, hang on, is it this part that has it on it? Here we go, this. They've got that nice and smooth. It should have a little indent and a little bit of mesh in there. And I don't know, to me it's just a little bit disappointing. Now, a good example of what I'm talking about actually does appear in that other kit I was having a look at, and I can even show you. I wonder the possibility of slowly slicing through. I do have a saw, but then what I'm looking at here, these are leftover bits from kits that I'm not going to use and stuff. And I find them often surprisingly handy. Now, I should, somewhere, however, have a complete, or the better part of a complete spit. Maybe Rob knows that much to be true as to where the hell that kit's gone to, but I'm talking about a different kit altogether. The part I'm looking for, hang on, we're looking to replace. Here we go. This illustrates exactly what I'm talking about. In fact, it's not, I don't know why you'd go about doing it this way, be that as it may. Here we go. Right, now you can see how on these there's a little divot inside the that gas thing. That's too big for our intents and purposes there. The one they've got is actually much shorter, the 9C. It could also be the fact that this particular aircraft is maybe a tropical variant of the Mark 8. That's an option. I do have drills and files. I also have boots and cats. Boots and cats. Sorry. Now, is what I need to do is do some very thorough searching in the cupboard I have. In the meanwhile, I'll obviously have to work with that one. That's a bit of a pisser. One side of the equation, I guess, is that if that's the worst thing I have to deal with in my time, hey, how bad can it be? What a charmed existence I do have. Now, in the meantime, with a little bit of time left. Next. That's what I was considering. Yeah. Well, I've got micro drills, but what I also have, I've got a whole stack of, actually, let's have a look at what options we have here as far as tools go. I have a few options, by golly. I've actually already hit that thing with some paints, so I might just let that rise. Now these might be a bit of a goer. These actually used to belong to my mum. Can hardly move anymore, so that's why. I wonder what would... Anyway, but she can't do miniatures, but so she gave me these. They may go a long way to fixing our problem. Now, the drills I have are too fine, I would expect. They're micro drills. Option. I also have, of course, these to help me along. So what I'd be thinking, let's have a look at the part. I'm not gonna. You will indeed catch me. Well, my Monday. I might do a stream on my Sunday, depending on what happens. But yeah, have a good day at work, buddy. And I'll speak to you in due course. Anyway, guys, so let's have a look at it. Here, I might have a man. For some reason, I've done that one almost that way. There's the hello. This might be an easier option. I'm not going to do it right today, by virtue of the it'll take a little bit of time. I don't want to be rushing it because, like I told everyone, I need to be off by 10. I may even go a bit sooner, depending. But what I'm thinking, I'll show you so you can understand what I'm on about. Not those two. I know where they go on top of the wings. Or they might not. Depends on the. Anyway, these go together on the undercarriage for the 9E. Now, other side of it, you can see how they've got that nice lip and stuff there. Now, what I'm thinking, I'll need to check. Ah, they're wider too. Okay. That's a poser. But, depending on the length, how wide they are at that length, what I was thinking is that I could get my saw it through, creating that little gap, and then take it from there. That would be an option. I reckon I might pursue that. It wouldn't be hard to achieve. I will have a look and see if I can find those other Spitfire kits, so that at that stage there might be an easier option. I'll pursue that one. But they might be the solution, I reckon. That's my theory. So, with that borne in mind, what I can also do very quickly, these are a large part of the exhaust fan on the Halifax. Pop that back up there. If so, I'm going to just check that detail. I'm going to paint them. Okay. Make sure that they are. Then I'll paint them and the Spitfire exhausts as well. Ah. Probably put some olive. Now let's see what colour they recommend. Which I'll go, nah. Doesn't offer a colour. Interesting. Frustrating, but interesting. Maybe. Okay. They've got it as a grey sort of a colour, which I would suggest is meant to be that comes from the engine. I know what we're doing. Executive decision made, chaps. What we're going to do. Bring that back here. We're going to get steel first. Now, when I do exhaust manifolds, I do two things. First, I hit it with this, and I give it a bit of a touch up with that. And you're not going to see the full effect until I put that back up, put that on it. We're going to put that on now, and then I'll wind up the stream, I reckon. Again, I don't need anything to be too precise. I can just slap, 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 slap. And I'll probably even get a bigger brush for this. Why? Because I can. I don't need specific or be particularly accurate. In fact, those bigger ones, you even do this one. Boom. Would I go that on the smaller ones? Possibly, we'll see. Quite like oily steel as a colour myself. Because it's partly an effect as well, isn't it? Yeah. that's pretty much the dealio. What happens is, if you give us a moment, I will get this one done. So I can show you on a finished model how it comes up. There. It won't take me long to get all these done, so once they're done, I'll show you a finished one, how it looks in a finished model. And then I'll wind the streamer. Yeah. I have one conveniently on. Right, so there's that. This one, obviously the tinny tin's going to come up very neatly. And, the raised areas portions there. All right, now that out the way, clean brush. Yeah. Bam, clean. Now, this one says convenient on hand. Here is the if I can put it down, you can see it if I get the focus on. There you go. Now, that's the effect on that one. When I first started doing, thank you. Oh, yeah, I do sometimes. As an example, moment, I'll just pop this up. Here, I've used Nuln oil on these engines to bring up some of the contrast on that. And also, here's a really good example, probably, for you. On the inside of the cockpit wall there. Once I finished a surface like that, for example, what I try to do is, well, I hit it with varnish. Obviously, you want to seal it. And then you hit it with the old Nuln oil, and boom, shakalaka, like a wop bamboo. There she goes. So yeah, thanks for the compliment on the detail. But yeah, so I do. One thing I do that's a little unusual, most people's eyes. You'll notice. I'll zoom you out for a moment. That's got a lot of paint on it. That's where I actually do most of my panel lines is before I do anything. After washing them, I'll give them a black wash, slap them with enamel, wipe it off. What happens is you get the gluggy enamel goes into the kind of oil, Nuln oil, mate. I'll show you in a minute. But yeah, the paint goes into there, and then you wipe it off, and of course there's your detail. And I find that really handy as well, particularly when you want to start doing actual detailing, because it all just goes boom, oh, there you are. Just there to be seen, man. The oil I use is this stuff, Nuln oil. That's what I was put onto by a mate of mine, and I've got to say, yeah, it certainly does fall nicely into the crevices and does its little magic. It's a bit like the guy who sings "I'm Too Sexy." It takes its little turn on the catwalk, on the catwalk, on the catwalk. Yeah. I can't help myself sometimes. As a piece of trivia, I was once put up to translating that into German because I've got a leather trenchie that's the German officer's style. The one thing I learned is that German is really like English. It's quite amazing. I digress, guys. Anyway, that's the oil, Nuln oil. It's pretty good. That's what I use anyway. Now, I've got to wind the stream up because I need to scooch off to my mother's. I wouldn't say a good little boy. A bit beyond that, but like a good lad. So, what I will do is just zoom that out. It is zoomed out. Good. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I must scooch now. I've got to go and look after my mum. Now, yeah, I will be back. Not back tomorrow, fishing. Yeah, you have a good day too, buddy. Yeah, now I'll, as I said, I'll be back not tomorrow, but I might be back Sunday. I don't normally stream on Sunday, but I'm starting to get a vibe that, why not? The more the merrier. And I've got a shitload of stuff to work on, so I may as well, hey, Now, my usual finishing spiel. First time viewers, magic button for you. Follow, like, subscribe. And depending what platform you're following me on, or watching me on, you can watch me on others. Or follow me on it. I'm Rob the Builder on Facebook, Twitter, and Discord. And I am Robster the Builder on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. Follow, like, subscribe. Alrighty. Again, thanks for watching. And I am off now, and I will hopefully I'll catch all of you at various stages sometime down the track, and we'll have a good chat and a bit of a session modelling. Catch you later on for all the fun and games that modelling brings. Catch you then, kids.